The Blue Jackets last night, well, they gave us something to talk about, I guess, to say the very least. Let's start with Game 3, though. Let's start with Game 3. CBJ goes down 3-0. Torts pulls Corpy, brings in Elvis. I mean, it was one of those situations. It wasn't Corpy's fault. You know, the team was just, it wasn't playing well. The offense, it just wasn't there. It was down 3-0. Switch goalies, try to spark something, and it worked. It worked very well as Corpusal or Mersley-Kins would come in and play very good, not allow any goals. Blue Jackets would rally back from being down 3, winning in overtime on the back of Pierre-Luc Dubois, who just had an outstanding second half of that game. Man, was he all over the place, playing really well. And again, credit Mersley-Kins as well. He came in there, made some good saves, didn't allow any goals. And heck, he went on what was it, a 55-60 save streak there from that game into Game 4 before that third period last night. It was a huge win, right? It was a huge win, brought the team up 2-1 in the series, and more importantly, it was a confidence boost. So this team was struggling so badly, even in the game they won, to put pucks in the back of the net. They finally did it, started getting some momentum. I question how much, Jake Muzzin had to affect that, not being in the lineup anymore. Probably, arguably, Blue Jacket, not Toronto fan, don't watch him every day, but I would argue that Muzzin is their best defensive player on that team. You can say what you will about, Barry and Riley. They're more of the offensive type, but from a pure lock you down on defense, I think Muzzin was their go-to guy. So that was a pretty big loss for them, seeing some more holes open up, or was the Blue Jackets in general just looking better? I think they was looking better. You watch some of these guys, they looked a little bit more comfortable on this. It was finding space a little bit more. They was getting a puck around a little bit more. So I do have to give credit to, probably had a little bit to do on both sides, right? The Blue Jackets playing better and, losing a defender like Muzzin. We know what that does. We know what it does when you lose a top defender, because again, we'd find out last night exactly what that was like to be down a defenseman. But regardless, the game last night, the momentum carried. PLD would get the, nice pass to start the game over to Atkinson to get that 1-0 series or 1-0 lead in the game. Gavrikov would get that shot on net, get another goal. Blue Jackets up 2. And it was from there where things started to change in this game. And I want to say it was, about halfway through the second, the Leafs, they showed that urgency. They put together their, what they call super line, right? Where they put Matthews, Tavares, Marner all in one line together and play them out there to try to get some offense going. And the Blue Jackets would do a really good job containing them for the most part. Boone Jenner would even tack on another goal to make it 3-0. But, as we mentioned, things would change. Things even changed more, but not for the good here. As, it was about 9 minutes. They say 9 minutes left. 9 minutes left in the game. Werenski would go down with what is an injury that is still yet to be disclosed here. The speculation of somewhere around a neck could have been a problem there, but it would require Scott Harrington to slide up there with Seth Jones. Get that final 9 minutes where they're just, you watch this. That's where it starts. This final 9 minutes, it felt like they was getting too many chances. They was doing a great job, and it was important to bring up that they was running that super line in a second because it was containing them. Mersley-Kins was playing really well, don't get me wrong. Mersley-Kins played out of his mind for the most of this game, but they was doing a pretty good job of containing him. We got to the, finally end of this game here, and we just seen every time they was getting chance after chance after chance to enter the zone freely. There wasn't a lot of dump and chases. There wasn't a lot of, turnovers. There wasn't a lot of forcing bad passes. It just felt like they was getting easy zone entries. And you know what that kind of reminds me of? When you watch this final 8-9 minutes, it reminds you a lot of a football game where you're a fan of a team that's they have a really good defense, average offense, whatever, average run game, but you're up a score, you're up a couple scores, and you're like, you know what, fourth quarter, we're just going to run the ball and be content, right? Run the ball, punt it, and be content with our defense shutting things down. But eventually you get to that point in the game where the defense is just like, let's play a little extra conservative. We'll allow this or that. We'll allow the tit for tat, as long as we don't allow the big play, as long as we don't allow the, and you know what happens. You know what happens? The other side of the ball, you got Peyton Manning, and you just keep giving him chance after chance, and you give him a little bit of space, and he's going to pick you apart. It almost felt like that from this perspective here. I'm going to call this line no Peyton Manning, but, they're one of the best lines in the league when you put all three together, and you just keep giving these guys chance after chance after chance with space. They're going to beat you one way or the other. Mersley-Kins, again, can't stress enough how well he played in this game up until that final 4 minutes where, again, it was tough pickings for him. It was making some big saves before that. But you keep giving these guys chances. They was destined to score, and they did. They did exactly that, and they did it quickly, twice, with an empty net. And the Blue Jackets, you won't forget it, missing that empty net. and getting what the other one was blocked. We could have sealed the game. It didn't happen, and you get this game back 3-2. And again, you know, we talk about the loss of Werenski, how big of a loss it was for this Blue Jackets team. Does this even come anywhere close to fruition if Werenski's out there on the ice for that, you know, that 6-on-5 empty net situation there? Who knows? But what we do know is the one thing, if you can question, you wonder, it was 3-2. In the Blue Jackets, they were still playing conservative. They put Freddie back in net because there was, what, 2.5 minutes left or so. They put Freddie back in net. They said, you know, let's see if we can get something going, even strength here. Don't pull the goal if we don't have to yet. And I was really hoping we'd see the Blue Jackets be a little bit more aggressive offensively. Try to do more of keeping the puck in the zone. Try to keep their, you know, big three playing defense out there. Wear them down a little bit. Whatever's got to be done. And then force them to take it slow the other direction. Force them to take it slow. Maybe they force them to dump or chase. Force them into something they did not want to do. But again, it felt like they was happy with the conservative play there. Again, it was a small window. It really was. So I ain't gonna, you know, nitpick at it too much. That's just something I wish you'd see more out of when teams were in the lead, where they just play a little bit more aggressive, understand how important this game was. Well, God, play the way you played all game at that point, right? Play the way you played all game and continue to grind across if you can there. But nonetheless, game's blowing, period. I get it. You know, this has been a strong defensive team all year. I can understand, again, why they'd rather their forwards not turn the puck over. And, you know, you can bring it up both ways. You play conservative, but you play aggressive, and you turn that puck over and give them a chance the other direction, you're going to be hurting as well. So I can, you know, I get both sides of the story. It's just, if there was one little thing you could look at in that little sequence there, that was possibly something you could look back and change besides the missed nets. Maybe it was that right there. But at the end of the day, they blow the game, and it's tough. That is a tough one to swallow. To 4-3, give up 3 goals, all empty net. You know, that's what's crazy. The goal was pulled for every single one of them. You just had to put it in there once. Couldn't do it. 3-3 go to overtime. They lose it there on a, what we'll call, controversial penalty. Why controversial? Because they could have called a penalty 3 or 4 times on the Leafs if they wanted to, right? In that final, you know, overtime, the final 10 minutes of the third period if they wanted to, but they didn't. They let them play, which I'm fine with. I'm completely fine with letting the guys play, because it's, you know, it's playoff hockey. You don't want to call a penalty on something that doesn't have any effect on the outcome of the game just to call the penalty and, you know, push these guys away, especially in the Leafs case, that they want to just, you know, step on their throats and say, oh, it's over now because they have to take this penalty kill. But you did that, you know, they did that in overtime with that foligno penalty, which was, again, it's a controversial call in the first place, because you can say that, you know, the way they get tangled up, and it's not like he was intentionally trying to, you know, rough them up. But unfortunately, you catch the official on the other side of the ice, not the one close to the play, the other side of the ice, calling the penalty after Morgan Rielly acts like he got shot on the ice. But all of a sudden, you know, after about 15 seconds of being dead, he gets up, makes a breakout pass, and continues playing, doesn't miss a shift, you know. Should have sent him back in the locker room. He looked pretty hurt. Should have sent him back in the locker room, got that concussion check there. The way he looked like he was struggling pretty badly on the ice there for all of 10 seconds. But you can't dwell on that. You know, you can't dwell on the one bad call by the officials as much as you'd like to see them just let them play it out, because at the end of the day, you blew a 3-goal lead with 4 minutes left. Can't blame anybody but yourselves for losing a game in that exact fashion. But at the end of the day, I think you got to be happy with what the Blue Jackets did this game. You just have to hope they have that short memory coming into Sunday night, and they will continue to progress forward, because as long as the offense can put up 3 goals again, 2, 3, 4 goals, I think they got a very good chance of holding down this Toronto Maple Leafs offense. But I will say this, the Zach Werenski injury status is going to be very, very important. Again, we noticed the big difference. We've seen it all year long. Seth Jones and Zach Werenski, very good defensemen, but man, is it different when those two aren't playing together for this Columbus Blue Jackets team. When both of them went down this season, we've seen the difference making of this team. So hoping for nothing but the speediest of recoveries, and hopefully we get that update on Zach Werenski here shortly as well. But I still feel good about it. Still feel good about these Blue Jackets going forward here. I think they can handle the Leafs. Tough loss. That's a very tough loss. That'll be one we won't ever forget. There's no questions about it on both sides there. But you got to have a short memory. You got to have a short memory if the Blue Jackets bounce back game 5. They played the Leafs very well all series. I think Mersley he comes back in net and plays like he did. Blue Jackets tighten up a little bit. Can see a game 5 victory to move on here. Let's hope so, though. Go Blue Jackets.